Hi guys, and welcome to Hack Your Health. I'm Erica, and today I'm going to do a video about meditation for people with autoimmune diseases. So, I had a personal experience of healing from an autoimmune disease, and I found that meditation was very helpful. And of course, this is something that will vary from person to person, but I'm just putting out there what worked for me in hopes that it could help other people. And in terms of meditation and training, I am a certified yoga teacher. I've traveled to India several times and stayed at ashrams there, learned from various monks. During the time I was in my deep healing phase, I practiced and received teachings from a Tibetan monk for about 1 year and traveled to India and Nepal with him and a group of his students. And so basically, I've received teachings on meditation, yoga, and spiritual practice from many great teachers who had far more experience than myself, and a lot of this is passed down from them. And I just would like to share what worked for me and some of the practices that I found the most helpful for healing from an autoimmune disease with others, in hopes that it could also be something that is beneficial on your journey as well. So feel free to ask any questions as well if anything's unclear to you about this video. So for me, I was diagnosed with Crohn's when I was 21, and I have other videos about that and the diet that I did. And I did find that by starting with changing my diet, it kind of cleared out that real physical suffering enough to start with the emotional healing. So you may find that if you're really deeply into the disease, it may be helpful to also do something that will help you physically feel less pain. But I'm sure that no matter what point you're at, no matter what stage you're at, meditation will also be helpful. Just keep in mind that sometimes it takes a combination of different things to really heal. At least that was my experience. So part of what influenced me the most during this time when I was healing from Crohn's disease and trying to figure out why I had it or what I could do about it and stuff like that, I read the book The Body Says No by Gabor Mate. And that is a great book, and he's a medical doctor, very, very interesting person. And he wrote this book about autoimmune diseases because he sensed a pattern in his patients where the people who were being diagnosed with Crohn's disease, and he included cancer and several other diseases like rheumatoid arthritis and stuff like, body, where your body is attacking itself essentially. And he noticed that a lot of these patients had problems with expressing anger, or they were repressing their anger, or they were too nice, and I really resonated with that. And then I kind of went on and explored that further for myself, and I found that when I looked back at my journals from when I was very sick, almost every sentence was negated. It was all, I don't do this, I don't want that, this isn't working. Everything was written with a negated form of the word. And I think you understand what I mean. Instead of saying, I had to do this, it was more like I couldn't not do this. Like everything was written with a negation. And I found that was very interesting since I was having an autoimmune disease. Perhaps that negation of my thoughts was somehow connected with this sort of attacking. Beyond that, I also was always putting myself down and beating myself up and blaming myself for everything. And I do believe that there is some connection between the mind and the body. So, what you're doing to yourself in terms of your thoughts and your emotions and attacking yourself, I really sensed that that was parallel in the disease, where I was attacking myself both emotionally and in my thoughts and in my emotions, but also physically, my body was attacking itself. So I felt, as I become more aware of this thought pattern, perhaps it can help to release some of those physical patterns as well. And I know that not everyone believes in that or thinks about it that way. I'm just saying that in my experience, I did notice that there was some connection between the two. And it was just helpful to become more aware of those patterns. So basically, in the meditation for autoimmune diseases, I would encourage you to really pay attention to any kind of thought pattern where you're either suppressing or ignoring your anger or attacking yourself, and really become compassionate and practice the ability to accept how you feel without judgment and without storytelling, and to really treat yourself with the kind of love, compassion, and respect that you deserve. So that's kind of an introduction to why, even though this is just essentially a meditation practice, why this may be something more applicable to people with autoimmune diseases. My suggestion is simply become aware if you do have any of those patterns, and do your best to just accept whatever you may find. And another thing I found at that time was that I had a very deep fear of myself. And I'm not sure if that's the same for other people or not, but I found that when I first began with a meditation, well, when I returned to a meditation practice, because I had done it and then not done it and was going back to it again, I was very, very afraid of what I would find. I was very afraid of myself. And I don't know if that's universal or not, but meditation can be quite scary, especially at first or as you get deeper, because you don't know what you're going to find. But my experience was that the fear itself, which was preventing me from looking at myself and preventing me from making the kind of progress that I needed to make, was really over nothing. When I did, look inside and see what was there, there was really nothing to be afraid of. So if you're feeling afraid, that's completely fine, or whatever you're feeling is fine. And just allow yourself to feel that and know that a lot of the times it's not real. It's just a feeling that doesn't have a basis in, it's not connected to what's really there. So I'll introduce you to the meditation practice. So in order to sit for meditation, I would recommend sitting cross-legged. The reason is that it distributes some of the weight into your legs, especially if you sit in the lotus position. That's why all those yogis are sitting in that position, is because it really distributes the weight into your legs and it allows you to sit for longer periods of time. However, I'm aware that not everyone has that available to them. So basically, you want to sit in a position where your spine is straight, whether that's sitting on your knees or whether you can even sit in a chair and have your feet on the floor. So whatever's available to you. If even that is too difficult, which it is for quite a number of people, you can just lie on your back on the floor. The reason I would recommend sitting if you can is because it's very easy to fall asleep if you're lying on the floor. But that's a completely effective way to practice. basically anything where your spine is straight is going to be the best, because the energy is going to be flowing through your spine, is basically the idea of what you're kind of doing in this practice. So sit with a straight spine. You can start to feel your tailbone and your sit bones connecting with the ground. And it's great if you can notice that instead of sitting by using your muscles, you're just sitting with a straight spine, so it's balanced. So it's an effortless sit. It's the alignment of your spine is holding up your body with the bones, and not by holding yourself with your muscles. So just try to be as relaxed as you can. You can draw your belly towards your back. Open your chest. Allow your shoulders to relax. And you can tilt your head slightly to elongate the back of the spine. And I had a teacher tell me once that by tucking your chin slightly like this, it really can help reduce your thoughts. So if you're having a problem with, all these thoughts, you can always try tucking your chin slightly. Take your tongue and put it at the roof of your mouth. There's like a dip at the roof of your mouth. You can either have your eyes closed, or if you're going to have them open, just have them slightly open and unfocused, about 6 feet in front of you. And if you find that you're being distracted, you can always place a candle, like a tea light, and gaze at the flame, or a small object like a stone or something that's meaningful to you. If you use an icon or anything like that, you can place that at that distance away from you and have your gaze steady on that object. So the idea is to not be distracted. So whether that's having your eyes closed, whether that's having them open and gazing at a fixed point, both of those are good. So now you're ready. You've prepared your posture. You can start paying attention to your breath. So during the practice, the idea is to just pay attention to the inhalation and the exhalation. And just simply watch your breath. You don't need to try to control your breath in any way. You don't need to change anything. Just simply become aware of the rhythm of your breath. And as you watch your breath, you may notice that certain thoughts come up in your mind. And that's okay. Just simply notice that, I've started thinking, and that's okay. But right now, just bring your attention back to your breath. And simply allow yourself to relax your mind, to experience your breath. Allow any sensations that you may feel to happen, and just remain still. So you may find that, you're itchy or your foot is falling asleep. Well, just allow yourself to experience that and feel it. And bring your attention back to your breath while remaining still. And by remaining still in your body, it really helps to settle your mind. So the more fidgeting you do during your practice, the more difficult it's going to be to have a quiet mind. And of course, practice compassion. If you do need to move, that's okay. Just become aware that you do have a choice. If you're itchy, you can choose to just simply feel that and allow it to pass without needing to do anything about it. And notice that sometimes while you're meditating, there might be a pattern of thought that arises. And instead of following that pattern of thought, simply become aware that that is what you're thinking and bring your attention back to your breath. And by doing so, you can begin to become free of the patterns and cycles of thoughts that often trap us and we feel like we have no control. Start to realize that you can choose to acknowledge that thought and then bring your attention back to your breath. And as you're sitting here in stillness, you may notice that certain feelings arise or memories. And feelings and memories are often stored in the body. They're often stored when we have suppressed or not allowed ourselves to feel something. Say someone made us angry and we didn't allow ourselves to feel it fully and we suppressed it. That will remain stored somehow, and during meditation these things start to become accessible because we're quieting our mind and we're allowing ourselves to feel. So during a meditation, you may notice that a certain feeling arises, and sometimes the feeling is from something that we don't even remember, or maybe we do remember, but at any rate, try not to be caught up in any kind of story if you feel an emotion, such as anger or sadness or joy or anything like that. Simply allow yourself to feel it. So if you start to feel sad, just let yourself feel sad. You don't need to do anything. You don't need to tell yourself a story about it. You don't need to figure out why it's happening. Simply continue to keep your awareness on your breath while also feeling any emotions that may arise. And this is a really great practice, especially with something like anger or sadness, where in our lives often those things come up and they take control over us. If you can practice, or you suppress them and don't allow yourself to feel them, you can practice just simply feeling your emotions and experiencing them, allowing them and accepting them. You can have more of a choice on how you respond when you experience those in your daily life. And as well, you become more compassionate for yourself. It's okay for you to feel angry. It's okay for you to feel sad. It's okay for you to be happy. All of that is okay. And just treating yourself with the compassion and allowing yourself to feel can be very, very healing, as well as the awareness and the release of those patterns which you may have been living on for years without realizing it can be extremely healing. So of course, you're going to want to practice this on your own time without me talking the entire time. If it's helpful for you, you could run the first part of this meditation, turn the video off, and sit there and meditate on your own for whatever period of time you have available. So I would suggest starting by doing this kind of practice. Personally, I would recommend starting with about 15 minutes or 20 minutes, something where it's not too long, but you're also allowing yourself to settle. if you only have 5 minutes, 5 minutes is much better than 0 minutes. So if you could do 5 minutes a day of just sitting and allowing yourself to become aware of your emotions and become aware of your thoughts and to relax your mind and bring your attention to your breath, I think that you will experience results. And if you have an hour on a weekend that you can sit and meditate, maybe then that would also be good. But to have a consistent practice is really important, whether it's 1 hour once a week, whether it's 5 minutes every day or 15 minutes every day, or whatever makes sense for your schedule. Practicing consistently is much more beneficial than just doing it once. So part of this practice as well is to start really loving and having compassion for yourself. So similar to what I was speaking about at the beginning of the video, there's this connection with autoimmune diseases attacking yourself, and perhaps you'll find that, and many people do this, not just people with autoimmune diseases, but that you may attack yourself, like, oh, I did something wrong, I made a mistake. Well, everyone makes mistakes, and treat yourself with the kind of care and compassion and respect that you probably treat other people with. Well, you have to start with yourself as well. So you made a mistake, you did something stupid while you were driving, or you said something that you regret, or acknowledge that and forgive yourself. Allow yourself to feel whatever it is without judging. And then, you do have a choice. You can choose to do things differently in the future, but you don't need to beat yourself up about it. And the more that you start to treat yourself with that love and compassion and respect, the easier it will be to treat other people that same way. Yes. So I would recommend that if you are struggling with an autoimmune disease, to incorporate some of this meditation practice, awareness building, accepting your anger, accepting your sadness, accepting your feelings. Even the diagnosis itself is a really, really difficult thing. And you may be trapped in a feeling about it. So I know I was. So to feel that, maybe someone did something really wrong, allow yourself to feel that. Oh, somebody did something really wrong to me. You can live forever thinking about that, but it doesn't serve you. You're only hurting yourself at that point. When you're living in a state of anger or blame or anything, it's hurting you. It's not hurting them. They're gone, right? They're not right there. You're hurting yourself. And so really this is a practice of self-care and forgiveness. Whatever you need to do, all of that is self-care. It doesn't matter. Someone did something really, really terrible to you. Forgiving them this is a bit of an off topic, I suppose, but it's an example of what might come up. Forgiving that person doesn't make anything about what they did okay, but it frees you from having to suffer over it and be angry and think about it all the time. To just choose to say, you know what, I'm gonna forgive them. I'm gonna accept that that's what happened and it's not okay, but I'm not gonna punish myself over it anymore. I'm gonna move on from that and I'm gonna accept it. So simple things like that can come up during a practice and can be really beneficial for healing and just generally for even just dealing with having a disease at all, just to be able to feel it and to have a choice about how you respond. So I hope that can be helpful for you and offer a little bit of guidance or insights about what kind of a practice may be helpful if you have an autoimmune disease, what kind of things you may want to be aware of. And if you have any questions, let me know, and hopefully this can help you to also start to release and heal some of the patterns that may be contributing to the kind of disease, along with, your medication or diet or whatever else you're choosing. So thank you so much for watching this video. Let me know if you have any questions, comments, or suggestions. And if you liked this video, let me know by pushing like. If you'd like other kind of guided meditation or yoga series or anything like that for autoimmune, let me know. And if you'd like to see more of my videos, please subscribe. Thank you so much, and all the best on your healing journey. Bye.